Okay. All right. Welcome, entrepreneurs. I'm back again. This is Joe DeChara coming to you live with another amazing episode of how you can win at business. And I have my recurring friend and guest, maybe recurring guest, and good friend, the big deal, Suzy Pruden. Hi, Suzy. Thanks for coming on again.
Hi, Joe, and thank you for inviting me. It's wonderful to be here and to
Yes.
share our wisdom with your audience.
I hope so. Well, at least your wisdom. I don't know about my wisdom,
I do.
but well, you have a lot of wisdom, and you're an amazing entrepreneur, and I don't just say that. I mean, you have the documentation to back it up. One of the first, literally, one of the first woman-owned S corps
You
in the
know, that's
United States.
I don't understand that because it seemed like such a natural thing to do. It's like I'm starting a corporation. I'm starting a business. I need to be incorporated. I mean, it was a no-brainer. I may have been 22. It may have been 1965, but it was still a no-brainer.
Well, you take it for granted, but Susie, in 1965, women weren't supposed to be in business.
Well, my mother had been in business for 30 years already. So
Well,
it's like that was my mindset. And I am blessed, seriously blessed, because I was talking to a coach of mine the other day, and we were looking at the various things I've done over the last 50 years. And it's a lot. And I've always just had an idea, literally thrown it against the wall. If it stuck, I did it. I was extremely successful in most of my businesses. I was a horrific failure in some of my businesses. I prefer the success part. And I'm moving my stuff because my cat is about to come over and talk to me. She's so sweet. This
there's
cat.
something about Zoom calls and cats, I'm telling you, and dogs. But
Yeah.
Dogs are just curious, and cats want to get in the show. So,
Well, she's not usually. She's a very independent little girl. She's new. She's a rescue, and she's still finding her way. But I wanted to make a point. You see where my name is on the screen?
yes,
Well, do you see what's above my name?
yes, two pretty women.
It's Oprah Winfrey. Do you know how I got on that show?
I know how, but a lot of the people listening may not know.
I wrote a book. And I've actually written a lot of books, and I do have a New York Times bestseller from before the internet. And I am now a publisher, and I tell people, if you really want visibility, you have to write a book. And a book is not a business card. There is a distinction there, although a lot of people say it's a business card. I get offended when someone actually hands me a book and said, this is my business card, because it means I have to take it and read it, and I don't want to. I read for a living, right? I also read for pleasure, and I don't want to read something that I don't buy. So, and there's a lot of people like me. We're very polite. We say thank you, but then you look at the book and you say, who on earth is this? So don't do it if you're watching, listening. Just, give them a business card. It's easier for them to put in their pocket.
Well, some people taught them to do that. And
I know. My coach. I have a coach that says to do that.
And I did it because somebody told me to do it. But I was taught you write a book to gain credibility.
That's why you write a book.
Okay.
That is why you write a book. Let me go back to what's behind me with me being on Oprah.
Okay.
I wrote a book in 1989. It was published in 89 by Hay House, called Meta Fitness, Your Thoughts Taking Shape. And it was a body-mind book before body-mind was even considered a reality. And I hired a publicist, and he was the one who got me on the Oprah show. And they dedicated an entire hour to what I was talking about in Meta Fitness.
Really?
And we sold 35,000 books the following week. So that's why you want to write a book. Never mind you have a brilliant topic. Never mind your story is important. That's all well and good. But more importantly, you want to use your book as a marketing tool and as a business builder so that you can take your book and let everybody know that you are not only a published author, but do an Amazon bestseller campaign because you'll become an Amazon bestseller. And we can talk about how to do that. To do a New York Times bestselling campaign is prohibitively expensive. You probably need about, to get published by a big house right now, you need about 40,000 people in your database. And you need to have a marketing plan where your publisher knows that you're going to sell a lot of books. And a New York Times bestselling campaign usually costs about between $200,000 and $300,000. I know someone who's paid as little as $125,000 for a book to get on the bestseller list, and as much as $350,000 to get on the bestseller list. The industry has changed. Period.
So
and
wait, you have to, I thought, I didn't know you could pay, I knew you could pay like consultants and stuff to get on the bestseller list.
Well, you're not paying the Times.
Right.
You're not paying the Times. You're paying someone who will arrange for enough books to be sold using your money, like $350,000, to buy enough books in a certain amount of time so you could be considered a bestseller. So you're not paying the Times. No.
Unless you're like John Grissom or,
James Patterson.
Right. They're just going to sell.
Yeah.
So, okay. So there still are New York Times bestsellers, but it takes a lot.
It takes a lot. It's the same thing with the Wall Street Journal. I mean, it's all of these quote unquote bestseller programs are marketing tools for the publisher, for the newspaper, and for the author. It's all marketing. Somebody says, well, Amazon doesn't count because Amazon counts, period. And yes, you don't have to sell as many books. And yes, it's a system. And yes, we at Itty Bitty know how to go through the system. But it's all the same. It's just different levels of cost. And if someone says you're not a real bestseller because Amazon is real. The bestseller programs are real. If you say to someone who's putting together a conference that you're an Amazon bestseller, they'll look twice at you instead of once or maybe not at all. If you're a New York Times bestseller, it moves you up the level. But again, that's all depending on where. It's so interesting to watch this industry change. And that's why when I focus on books, we always do a bestseller campaign for all of our authors. We've done 72 campaigns. We have 72 bestsellers.
And I'm one of them.
And you're one of them.
To be another one.
And you're about to become another one. And I just talked to Donna about positioning. When we're after the show, I have to talk to you about what you need to do next to move your book up. It's in the queue higher. Okay. So you've got some homework to do.
Well, that's refreshing. But let's take a step back because one thing that you bring out, and I didn't realize how bad it is, that people don't even read anymore. I mean, I consume books. It's
Me
like
too.
I'm ingesting. I'm reading like 3 of them. I can't even read one at a time, unless it's an itty bitty book, because I'll read that in an hour. No, but you have, when I heard your idea, I was like, this is brilliant. If I just want, I'll let you explain the idea. Go ahead.
Well, 95% of Americans don't read. Most people do not open a book after graduating from high school. It's just not part of their consciousness.
Wow.
So when you think of 5% of the population is creating the entire industry of the book business, what would happen if more people read? I mean, it would be interesting. And there are thousands of books being published every day because we have so many different alternatives in the publishing industry. So 95% of the people don't read. So what my sister and I did when we created Itty Bitty, this book was an accident. We started with a book. And then when my sister took my name off the cover, because I asked her to change the cover, make the book smaller, it was about weight loss because that was our business at the time. And instead of calling it Suzy Pruden's Itty Bitty Weight Loss Book, because my name has been on everything for 50 years, it said, Your Amazing Itty Bitty Weight Loss Book. And I looked at it, my ego had a moment. And then I looked at my sister, I said, You sure you want to take my name off? She said, I don't care. And I looked at it and I said, well, actually, this is $1 million business and we don't have to write the books. So we opened up the company 4 days later. We had our first author 2 weeks later and our first published book 6 weeks later. And we created our own model. The Itty Bitty model is a book that by experts that people will read. And the dummies books, which were so popular and so important in the 80s, are 350 pages you have to read with a yellow highlighter. Then you have to remember where the yellow highlights are. And it takes forever. We don't have forever. I don't know about you, Joe. Well, I do know about you, but we're moving faster. And we're doing more in a day than we used to do in a week.
Well, I agree. And the idiots books, or the books for dummies, or whatever it is, they were, the right thing at the right time.
Exactly.
And so, because we move so fast, everybody wants to go on YouTube and get it, the instant. We have, like, my friend Haley talks about this. We have a lower attention span than a goldfish.
Yep.
So, and I told you, I'm reading 3 books. I get bored with one, or somebody tells me, and I'll finish them all.
In chunks.
But right, in chunks. I'll read a couple of chapters and I'll pick up the other one. I've always done that. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but that's me.
Well, it's what you do. Yeah. Exactly.
The Itty Bitty book, what you did was you gave me a chance I did the Itty Bitty bookkeeping book, the Amazing Itty Bitty bookkeeping book. And it gave me, bookkeeping. So it gave me a chance to, get some information out there that is important. Businesses need bookkeeping, and a lot of them don't know where to start. And I was like, hey, I could. And people are buying my Itty Bitty because I got a royalty check, and people are buying it. And I'm like, hey, maybe I'm helping the world, with my Itty Bitty. But the truth is, yeah, maybe I helped somebody learn a little bit about bookkeeping. But I also got my name in front of them.
There you go.
So it gave me the chance to get my name in front of them, and it gave them information.
And if anybody who's watching, listening, is in business, if you're still doing your own books, stop it. Stop it. You want to talk to Joe. You want to be sure you have a bookkeeper. Seriously, I used to before.
You're talking about bookkeeping. I thought you were saying
no books. No. If you're writing a book, you talk to me. If you need bookkeeping, you talk to Joe. I'm serious. I used to do our books when I was before I had my company. When I was just a normal W-2 person, which I was for a very short time. But I did the books, and I'm when I look back at it now, I think, wow, because no one taught me. I just read the instructions and did them. But once I opened a company, I went, I don't think so. I'm not doing the books for this, because it was much more complicated. So if you have a company, whether it's a sole proprietorship, whether it's an S corp, whether it's a C corp, whether it's an LLC. If you have a company, don't do your own bookkeeping, but write a book. Definitely write a book.
I'm a big believer in writing. I think, and the process of it, because what it does is, like, you would think, oh, bookkeeping. Yeah, I know it like the back of my hand, but if I got to explain it to somebody, and then what happens is you start looking for, oh, well, they updated this resource. you know, it really helps you keep your blade sharp. But you know,
Yeah,
I did a right before this, I did a Facebook Live on Wave apps. So you know, it's a great program, great bookkeeping program. Maybe I'll write a book about it.
then you can
But
have a trilogy, Joe.
yeah,
Like Barbara Starley has a trilogy, Marie Burns
yeah.
has a trilogy. They have 3 books
So
on their topic, and
okay,
then we
so
put them together.
we only have a couple of minutes. So tell us a little bit about the system, and because you're batting 1,000 then, right?
Yes. So what
72.
72
Wow.
we're doing our 73rd next week. We've done 72, and the way you work is that because we have it's set up that we have a list, and all of our itty bitty authors have agreed to purchase everybody's book. And there's a prize with the person who, you know, we pick a number, and there's a $25 prize. We make it an event, and we do 1 or 2 a month. And we start sending out emails letting people know so-and-so's bestseller campaign is coming up. This is what the book is about. You'll get this, you'll get this, you'll get this when you get the book, everything about the book. And we start a drip campaign. And so we start saying, well, the letter went out today for the bestseller campaign for the 25th. So, or the 28th. I don't know which, whatever the Thursday is, a week from Thursday, whatever that day is. So the drip campaign started today. And in 2 days, we'll send out another one. And in 2 days, we'll send out another one. Then we keep doing that. And we ask people to write it down and remember that it's so funny. Do it Thursday. It's Thursday. People buy the book on Monday, they buy it on Tuesday, but it's 99 cents on Thursday. So that's a key, because for $1 you can have this fabulous book, and it's an itty bitty book, which means you can read it quickly. It'll give you great information. Every itty bitty book is 15 chapters. Every itty bitty chapter is 2 pages. But what the book does is sends people to your website. So we start the drip campaign about 10 days before the actual day of the sale. And then so on Thursday, we've got 24 hours, and we just send out, every few hours, we send out another letter. We ask the person who's having the program, who's having the bestseller, to send it to their list. We ask them to ask their friends to buy it. So it's a very close, you don't have to sell a lot of books, but you have to sell them in that one day.
Right.
And
you got a closed window.
One day. So with the New York Times, it was a matter of weeks. I don't remember how many weeks. But that's when I did it. It was when I was on tour, going to bookstore and bookstore and bookstore. But that doesn't happen anymore. It's still, everything's online now. And bookstores, you know, there are not that many left. So I don't know how they judge the Amazon bestseller campaigns for the Times anymore. I remember when Mark Victor Hansen was doing a bestseller campaign. I remember T.R. Becker. They bought thousands of books and then gave them away, or gave them when people signed up for a seminar. But they bought thousands, 50,000 books and something like that. So it cost them $100,000 or $300,000, whatever. It doesn't do with Amazon. It doesn't cost a lot of money. With Amazon, depending on who you work with. Now, for us, we include the bestseller campaign in your agreement with us. For a lot of people, they say, we'll put together a campaign for you, pay us $3,000.
Yeah.
We don't do that. We just include it when you become an itty bitty author.
Okay. So if, you know, as far as if you haven't written a book, you should call Suzy. But also, if you want to look at the Amazon bestseller is like, you know, not that important, try writing a book. What did James Malinchak said? You know, my crappy book is a lot better than the one you never wrote.
Exactly. exactly.
You know, it's not easy. It's
No.
even, you know, the itty bitty book could take a, you know, because we procrastinate and stuff.
I've had
So,
people take 3 years to write their itty bitty book. I mean, we're working with someone today. She's finishing up her book, and it's been 2.5 years. And it's a small book. I mean, it's 30 pages.
yeah,
But you really have to. It's more difficult, seriously, to write a short book than it is to
I,
write a bigger book.
I was gonna say, because you got like so many ideas and you got to like really drill down and be specific, which is what's great about the, you know, when I read them, I got a bunch of them, and I
Yeah,
bought plenty of them at like 11:52 p.m. You know, before the deadline.
right. Yeah,
So
a lot of people do that. It's like,
people procrastinate, you know.
I know. Do it now, do it now, do it now. Oh my God, I forgot. And then they buy the book at 12:03, and it's, you know, it's like, oops. So
Anyway, so how do you know? I know if you haven't written a book, you got to talk to Suzy. If you have written a book, you should
talk to
talk to
Suzy.
her about writing another book.
Or you can
And
take the book that you've written and turn it into an itty bitty book, which is what a lot of people are doing, because the big book people will not read. They'll buy it, but they won't read it. And you want people to contact you. And the way they'll contact you is if they have the information in a book and they want more information, which is why itty bitty works so well. I want more information. And therefore, it's at people's websites are in there, their phone book. It's a marketing tool as well as an informational
absolutely.
tool.
And now I just put together something. I forget what. I have a woman that's doing like it's almost like a one sheet. Like, this is Joe DiChara. You know, these are, and I got all my books. You know,
Yes.
I've written or collaborated like 5 or 6 different books. And I said, wow,
it's impressive.
I'm pretty proud of myself. You know,
well, you ought to be.
My high school guidance counselor said I wasn't high school material, so there.
Well, when I was in high school, I did very, very well in high school, but I didn't know that I was learning anything until all of a sudden a word will come out of my mouth and I go, oh, that's a good word. And I'll realize I learned it in high school. It's just in my subconscious mind. Like temerity, that's my favorite word. That's in my word book, temerity. And that means unbounded self-confidence, which I realized was the perfect word for me.
Wow, I like that word. I like it. So how do people get in touch with you?
The best way is to go to my website, which is www.itty, I-T-T-Y, bitty, B-I-T-T-Y, publishing.com. And there's an area where you can give your name and your phone number and your email. Also check out the website because you'll see a lot of really interesting books there. And your book could be up there as well. And the other way is to call me directly, 310-640-8885. That's 310-640-8885. If you text me first, it's easier for me. And I'll text you back and we'll make an appointment to talk. And nothing ventured, nothing gained. You all have books inside of you. You all have more than one. And it not only enhance your life, it'll enhance your reader's life, and it'll make a difference. And that's what I know I want to do. And I know Joe wants to do. And if you're watching this show, you want to.
Absolutely. Thanks, Suzy. Stay on if you can. We have some things to chat about. Joe DiChara, definitely contact Suzy Pruden, Itty Bitty Publishing.com. And that's our story. We're sticking with it. Over and out. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you.